Welcome to I Am the Cute One, the most chaotic school dance in the podcast universe.
Let's spike the punch, grind to usher, and talk about our favorite topic, ourselves.
Hello, I am Donnie and I am the cute one.
And I'm Chelsea and I'm the cute one.
This is a costume, right?
Well, it is a costume now, but this is the Pharrell hat I wore basically at every brunch in the year 2014 and 2015.
Huh.
Imagine it with a V-neck, ballet flat, a Kylie Jenner lip kit, just dry lips to the high heavens.
I'm glad you're wearing what you wore in 2015 because so am I.
But did you come equipped with some beans?
I didn't, but I didn't wipe this morning, so we're practically the same.
Great.
So for those of you who are wondering, we are covering Brokeback Mountain, a story of two boys and their beans. This movie premiered in select theaters on December 9th, 2005, but went into wide release on January 13th, 2006. So since that's what's brought it to me, that's what I'm focusing on. That was a Friday. Glory Road, Last Holiday, Hoodwinked, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and Hostel were top 5 at the box office. Laffy Taffy was the #1 song in the U.S.
Great one.
And on TV, the second live episode of Will and Grace aired, and Skating with the Celebrities premiered on Fox, starring Dave Coulier, Christy Swanson, Debbie Gibson, Todd Bridges, and Caitlyn Jenner.
Back when celebrities were embarrassed to do shows like that.
And now they strive for it. So if today's episode makes you laugh or scream or eat some beans, do us a favor and leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. This is a free way to support us, and it really helps get us in the algorithm for other people looking for a fun podcast. And now what I've noticed too, cutie, some behind-the-scenes stuff. When we talk about other podcasts, that podcast shows up in our show notes. So it's really our goal to make sure other podcasters find out about us. So then they talk about us, and then we're in the show notes.
So go rate your other favorite podcasts 5 stars, and in the comments say, I love I Am the Cute One. You guys should collaborate.
Also, go to Patreon. We have so much there. Ad-free versions, bonus versions. Chelsea started putting in our show notes how long the actual unedited is compared to what we put out. So you can see like sometimes 40 minutes of unaired content. So this movie was written by Larry McMurtry and Diana Osana, and it was based on the short story by Annie Proulx. Sure. And Larry McMurtry wrote Terms of Endearment and The Last Picture Show. I couldn't find much on Diana Osana, but that's okay. Those 2 movies are something. It was directed by Ang Lee, who'd also directed Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and Life of Pi. The movie cost $14 million and brought in $179 million worldwide.
Whoa, baby.
Also, it won the Oscar for Best Director, Best Adapted Screenplay, and Best Original Score, but it lost the Oscar to Crash, which was a big controversy because a lot of the times whoever wins Best Director, their movie also wins Best Movie. So this was one of the only times that hasn't happened. And it is, a lot of people think, because the world wasn't ready to like fully say, hey, we support gay movies. And in hindsight, there are a lot of think pieces or even just actual pieces about how Crash should have never won. And it simply won because they didn't want to award
a movie about gay people, basically.
Yes. And in hindsight, like if you look at numbers or whatever, because this did do well in the box office and nominee-wise, like it got Oscar nominations for Best Actor, Best Supporting Actor, and Best Supporting Actress. So the intent was there to provide it, and then it just never did. So a lot of gay stuff popped off after this.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And then there was also controversy about the fact that 2 straight people played gay people too. Was that later or was that like right at the same time?
I don't remember if that was at the same time, because that's something I always hear
That's
about
kind of like an
everything.
ongoing conversation.
Yeah, not just this, but like even about heated rivalry. And I just simply don't care about that.
I don't know if I'm allowed to weigh in because
Yeah, half and half. Tap into that side.
Okay, here. I'm on that half. I also feel like, yes, in a perfect world, representation happens. But when we are trying to break down a door to allow for representation, there is something important about simply getting the story out. And yes, there are lots of gay actors that would die for that role. But I also think there is something powerful about a straight man being comfortable enough in his own
Really?
sexuality to be playing the part. Because I think also in a world of Andrew Tates who are saying that
Yeah.
wiping your booty hole makes you gay and don't have sex with women unless you're getting them pregnant. I don't know what his messaging is lately. But in a world where boys are being indoctrinated from an early age about what is masculinity, I don't think it's bad to also throw in the mix like Jake Gyllenhaal and Heath Ledger smooching.
Yeah, sometimes there are movies or TV shows about like racism or race relations, and then we find out like a cast member is racist in real life. And you're like, oh, they weren't acting, they were just racist. So that's like kind of a bummer. You did hope that because the message was about racism and how it's bad or whatever, that they were on the same page as the audience.
Right.
But with this, though, what I like is that Heath Ledger, I don't know if it was the Oscars or the Teen Choice Awards or something, but he was supposed to like present something with Jake Gyllenhaal, and it was going to be like comical, like a little tongue in cheek about, oh, haha, we're gay. And he refused to do it because he said, like, this is not a joke.
Ugh,
So,
I love Heath
that.
Ledger.
Me too.
R.I.P.
So nobody won Oscars for this movie, but Michelle Williams won the Critics' Choice Award for it.
Well,
And
yeah.
Roger Ebert gave it a perfect score and said, there are gentle and nuanced performances of the wives, who are important characters, seen as victims too. Williams has a powerful scene where she finally calls Ennis on his fishing trips, but she takes a long time to do that because nothing in her background prepares her for what she has found out about her husband. In their own way, programs like Jerry Springer provide a service by focusing on people, however pathetic, who are prepared to defend what they feel. In 1963, there was nothing like that on TV.
Huh. A nice shout out to old Jerry Springer. Roger, flipping the script, not just dragging someone for no reason, but uplifting a comrade, Jerry. Did you see that on social media, there is now the generation of babies who the DNA tests were about on Jerry Springer? And so there's a new trend of people watching their parents find out in real time if they are the father and being like, well, he's my dad, but I still haven't seen him in 20 years.
Wow.
Hmm?
Oh, I do like that. See, sometimes social media is used for what it's meant to be used for. Love that. Now, when I wake up first thing in the morning and on my feed is like a woman getting kidnapped by an Uber driver, that's not what you're meant to see first thing in the morning. That's a lunchtime activity.
Waking up to love.
Let's do taglines. The one I've prepared is better than anything anyone else could. This January, get stuffed.
I was on the same wavelength as you. I said, they're putting the hoe in Home on the Range.
Oh, okay. If you were in the boardroom with me, I would have pitched mine. We would have got some chuckles. You would have pitched yours. And then I'd say, no, but let's do Homo on the Range.
Ah, perfect.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of workshopping. AI could never.
The real ones wouldn't have made it out of the pitch room if I was there. Love will bring you back.
Okay.
Unless you're hate crimed on the side of the road, then it just leaves you there. The second one is love is a force of nature.
Okay.
Sure. Some trivia. Heath Ledger was encouraged by then girlfriend Naomi Watts to take the part after she read the script at his house. So thanks, Naomi, for your work. Also, Heath Ledger and Michelle Williams met doing this film. And I don't know the timeline, but I wonder if he was with Naomi Watts while he was filming or if he like said yes to it, broke up, and then met Michelle Williams.
Meta, if he was going on his own little fishing trips during filming.
With Michelle. Wow. Before it was Heath and Jake, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon were considered for the roles. Would have been something different. It would have been set in Boston for sure.
100%.
Yeah. What character, if any, do you identify as?
I am Anne Hathaway because I would also look the other way if I was married to Jake Gyllenhaal. Yeehaw, baby.
Oh, yeah, I get it. Also, you are one to just hit your true love with a haircut that they didn't really sign up for.
And boy, as she got richer, did those haircuts get worse and worse and worse. I gasped. That last scene, that was a heartfelt moment, but that last scene with her on the phone, when she picked up, I mean, talk about a hate crime. I don't know what she's done to the hairdressers in her town.
It's wonderful that you're her because I am your husband. Because I don't take no for an answer. I love a souvenir and I don't clean out before I bought them.
Great.
Moving on. I'll give you 1 minute on the clock to tell us what this movie's about.
Sure. So again, this was my first time watching this movie. In case the cuties are worried, I loved it.
Okay.
I loved it. It was heart-wrenching. I was sobbing. We'll get into all of my feelings. But I really feel like I was missing out on something important by not having seen it before now. So with that said, how does one sum up this beautiful film in a minute? It's hard to do. So instead, I'm going to paraphrase the one, the only Lady Gaga and say, don't be a drag, just be a queen. Whether you're broke or evergreen, you're black, white, beige, Chola descent, you're Lebanese, or you're Orient. Rejoice and love yourself today, because baby, you were born this way. Those lyrics are crazy, Donnie.
You think?
If you're Orient.
If you are.
Mm-hmm.
It speaks to you. We have to cover that episode of Glee one day.
Oh, Jesus.
And then they all wear shirts about what minority they are. It's beautiful.
Like what you're hearing? Head to patreon.com/IamTheCuteOne for more.
There you can find uncut, unedited, and unhinged video and audio footage of current episodes.
That's patreon.com/IamTheCuteOne. See you there.
It's 1963 in Signal, Wyoming, and Ennis Delmar, a rancher, and Jack Twist, a rodeo cowboy, are hired by Randy Quaid to illegally tend his sheep on Brokeback Mountain.
Donnie, right away, I'm gonna make you mad. Number one, Jack Twist, an amazing name. Number two, and this is what's gonna make you mad, I gasped when I realized that Heath Ledger was in this.
And you did give me a teaser. And our friendship really is, like, when we let the sweetness pour into the episodes, that is the true beauty of our friendship, is sometimes I make fun of your haircut. Sometimes you, whatever, make fun of something else about me. I'm perfect, so I don't know what topics you choose. I forget.
Yeah.
But things like that. Tell me my therapy sessions are crazy, but I'm probably her favorite client. Things like that. There's always
I would
like
love 10 minutes with Macy Gray. Just a 10-minute phone call. I would love to pick her brain about her thoughts about you.
But there is usually like a love behind it. But when you told me Heath Ledger's in this, I crossed the line that our friendship has never taken, because I did respond and say, kill yourself.
You didn't even say that to me when I spoke so poorly about while you were sleeping. Yeah, I do really have a superpower of not paying attention to things. And in this case, maybe homophobic of me, honestly, for me to not have paid this much attention. And obviously, I knew about Brokeback Mountain because it was such a cultural moment.
Yeah.
But I didn't know who was in it. I gasped several times throughout this movie. I didn't know that it took place in the past.
Okay.
Honestly, when they were like wrapping up that summer, like 20 minutes into a 2.5-hour movie, I was like, what else happens? Because I was under the impression it was just two men out on the range for 2 hours.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But as Pepe used to yell to performers on the street who were playing covers of famous songs, it's gonna be a hit. That's how I felt watching this movie. I'm like, wow, this movie is really going to go places. People are going to love this movie that came out. If
only you would have been an
20
Oscar
years ago.
voter. Also, speaking of our friendship and about like making fun of each other for a bit, and just because it's true, I even brought up how I'm dressed like 2015 and you didn't mention it. So that makes me fearful that you hate this look. You hate it so much that you can't even joke about it.
No, I have been telling you, rewind the tapes, cuties. I have been telling you from day one that you look so cute in a hat, and you always said that you have a pumpkin head or whatever and that you don't look like it.
Oh, well, sometimes I don't look good in a beanie. This beanie, I bought a set of 3 from Shein, and it's a perfect pair. But I don't look good in baseball hats when they're forward.
Okay. I think that also how can I say this delicately? I think that because you've had such a hair transformation over the years, I think you're also under the impression that your clothes have had a dramatic shift. Like you'll pull up pictures of you and be like, oh my gosh, look at this outfit. It was so 2016. Look at this picture of me from 2018. Isn't that so 2018? I've seen you wear this outfit before.
But not with a beanie.
Yes. Like when we did the Festival of Lights on New Year's, we're going outside, you're putting on a beanie.
That's a winter hat. There's a difference.
Okay, I see.
And this necklace is new, too.
Oh.
So now anyone that knows me knows this will be the only necklace I wear for a good 2 months until I get a new one.
I thought that was your Jessica Simpson feather necklace from afar.
Oh, no. So I was buying accessories for Big Brother 40 on Shein. So then since I was there and jewelry was only $1.33, I truly bought like 50 pieces.
Now they might turn your skin green and give you
the one bracelet
poisoning,
already did, but it is what it is.
Fashion is pain. This opening scene, though, you told me repeatedly over these weeks as we kept telling the cuties every week, next week's Brokeback Mountain, next week's Brokeback Mountain. You told me repeatedly that this is a slow-moving movie.
Yes.
There is literally no dialogue until minute 5, and I cannot imagine you in the theaters watching this.
Why?
I just feel like you're somebody who doesn't read anything but the dialogue in a book if you get bored. Were you worried at the time that 5 minutes in, nobody has said a word?
Well, no, because I knew it was all famous people. If this was an independent movie, yeah, I wouldn't have liked it. If it was like Gen Z casting, I wouldn't have liked it. But because it was Jake Gyllenhaal, Heath Ledger, Michelle Williams, Anne Hathaway about butt fucking, I was like, okay, we'll just push through. Like, I'm sure 5 minutes of no dialogue wasn't my favorite way to start a movie, but I knew like, we'll work for it.
We'll get to where we need to get to.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you are multifaceted because all I could think about was if this was a Chelchella movie, I would have been getting death threats immediately of like, nobody said anything. When does stuff happen? Why are they just looking at each other? And again, I have to remind you that we're two separate people because you were really worried that I was going to be taken out of the movie. But I actually, you know how I usually feel. If a movie is more than 90 minutes, I usually dedicate a segment specifically to what parts could have been cut to make it 90 minutes. And I actually think this movie, it needed all of the things. Like I loved all the nature shots. I loved all of the lingering looks between the men. Like it did take me 3 different sittings and I had to take like a movement break in between to stand up and shake it out to try to refocus myself. But that's a problem with my brain, not a problem with the movie.
But I think because I'm not used to people like you, when I knew that it would require that, then I think in my head that means you don't like it.
Oh, I see.
Like if you can't sit there for 5 hours and watch it in one sitting, that means you hate it.
Yeah, but meanwhile, you've seen me try to string together a sentence and stay on topic. I'm fighting for my life.
The job consists of someone staying in the main camp, ready to rock and roll if forest services come around, and someone working as a herder who will sleep in a tent near the sheep to make sure they're not attacked by wolves overnight.
This movie was so pretty.
So pretty.
Like so many shots of nature. And it's movies like this that really trick me. Every time I watch a movie like this, it always tricks me into thinking that I want to be an outdoor girly. Like it makes me want to get out those hiking boots I bought way back when for that one single hike I went with Dr. Bald on. But then I go outdoors and I remember, oh, right, there's a reason. I've tried this. It's not for me.
I know. If I watch too many episodes of Survivor, I get into, like during COVID, when that's all I was binge watching, there was a little time when I added that to my list of like things I would apply for. And like, this is a terrible idea.
No. And especially now that I know they don't even get beds. No, thank you. Now, I am going on a girls' trip in May to Portland. And it is with 2 of my girlfriends who are the outdoorsy types. They go rock climbing, they go like overnight camping, they're out in the wilderness. And so much out in the wilderness that they have normalized what they do to kind of forget about like what these activities are like for somebody who's not always out in the wilderness. And I have had to give like strict stipulations because they've started planning the activities. And again, this is the downfall of being the type B friend because I've got to go along with the ride. They've done all the Airbnb stuff. They've picked the weekend. I just show up. But I do have to put my foot down somewhere. And so when they started sending these trails, I said, listen, I'm okay if you guys want to go for a hike one day. I don't want to take away from your time and your vacation. So if you guys want to do a hike one day that's intense and you're traversing up mountains, I can find something to do. Certainly I can find a nail salon or just lay in my bed and watch some reality TV. That's fine. I said, but if this is going to be like a daily thing, here is how I want to hike. Preferably, I would like a concrete trail. And they said,
Mhm.
Chelsea, that's walking. And I said, okay, well, I will go out in the woods, but I don't want to have to use my hands. And they were confused by this. And I said, I don't want to ever have to use my hands. I don't want to even have to use my hands to support me as I climb over a boulder. I don't want to be climbing any which way. If I can stay upright and walk without having to use my hands to balance or to climb, I'm fine with that level of a hike. And I think we've come to a compromise.
See, I forget that there are different kinds of but it is a Venn diagram because you're the kind that dresses like this and you're also the sporty kind, but you're not a nature one. And one would think, especially in this outfit, that all three are connected.
I know. Again, multifaceted.
Yeah. Because then when you did this, even in that outfit, it was very stepmom from Parent Trap. So then I thought like, oh no, she hates nature. She would hate a lizard on her water bottle.
Oh, I would hate it. I would chip myself out into the middle of the lake.
The two make their way to Brokeback, where Jack takes the job of herder and Ennis watches the camp. But although they're apart for most of the day, they come together to bond over their breakfast of baked beans as they talk about their childhoods. Ennis's parents are dead and he was raised by his siblings, their goals in life, they're both saving up for houses, and their dating status. Ennis is engaged to white Michelle Williams. And the director of this movie going out of his way to show that baked beans is what they're solely eating is diabolical, knowing what's coming.
100%. The fact that the main subplot is so much that I brought my own beans here today. The fact that the main subplot of this first part of the movie was solely about beans truly tickled me. I laughed out loud when Jake Gyllenhaal said, I get down here hungry as hell and all I find is beans. I was like, oh my gosh, the starting phase of this dating relationship, like their main barrier is beans.
I know.
I'm sure they're going to look back on those days fondly.
And then we're told that the other option is soup, which is a still fucked up breakfast. I don't know which one I would rather be stuck with, only soup or only beans, because you know I hate a soup unless it's an appetizer. If I go to Restaurant Week and there's a 4-course meal, let soup be one of them. That's fine. Or even at Olive Garden when you get a soup and a salad and breadsticks, fine. But if I just get one thing, famously to my ex, I was sick as a dog, throat scratched, inflamed, couldn't speak, couldn't even swallow. And he says, do you want some dinner? And I popped my head up and said, I don't want no soup. Because just because I'm sick doesn't mean you're going to force me to eat the devil's drink.
I
soup
love
is a side.
soup.
Ugh, as a main?
Yeah. Now, that being said, we'll have to get you some crab soup when you're in Maryland next as an appetizer.
Okay, I do love a crab bisque. The other day, answer me this, cuties, because the thought of it turns my stomach, but then he tried to explain it and it still does. The other day, I ordered shrimp parm. And at the place, they had veal parm, chicken parm, shrimp parm, or some kind of like vegetable parm. 4 different kinds of
Oh my
parm.
God, character development. Everybody mark your calendar on this day because this might be my plot twist for the year for Kitty's Choice Awards 2026, that veal parm was an option and you didn't go with it.
It was the lunch special, and veal felt heavy for lunch.
Okay.
Yeah. Veal parm, shrimp parm, chicken parm, vegetable parm. I got the shrimp parm because I was like, chicken parm you can get anywhere. Let me get the shrimp parm. So I got that, told my boyfriend about it, whatever. The next day, he said, oh, how was your clam parm? And I said, clam parm? I was disgusted. It turned my stomach. The thought of it made me sick. But then, like, baked clams have cheese on it. There is that clam chowder. Like, one is white sauce, but there is the one with tomato sauce. So, like, if you think about it all the way down like that, it's not gross, but I would never eat it.
I just don't like clam.
Oh, I do like clams, but not clam parm. That made me sick. I like birthday cake, but if you say birthday cake parm, I'm going to throw up.
Yeah. Huh. Well, we've learned things today, cuties. Don't give Donnie soup and don't give him clam parm.
The two get closer, celebrating after they successfully hunt a moose, Jack cleaning up Ennis's cuts when his horse throws him off, and discussing the size of balls on coyotes. But something else that brings good old boys together? Butt fucking. So when Jack invites a freezing Ennis into his tent to keep warm and then kisses him, Ennis uses a little spit to stick it in. And it appears Randy Quaid's rules are set for more reasons than to prevent salad tossing, because when Ennis returns to the sheep, one has been eaten by a wolf, the very thing they were hired to prevent.
Now, we have both recently been guests on the podcast, We Say What? And I think our episodes are airing this month.
Mhm.
So the premise of this podcast, go over there and listen, cuties, rate them 5 stars. Now it's going to show up in our algorithm because we've
Yeah.
mentioned it. The premise of this podcast is they do March Madness brackets about random subjects. And then you argue the point to see who's going to advance to the next round to eventually win. Now, this scene made me curious. And every now and then I do like to check in with you about like your hierarchy of values, Donnie, because in this situation, we've got 2 hot men going to Pound Town.
Yeah.
But they are on the clock and being very bad at their job. So which wins, horniness or clocking in and taking care of business?
Okay. Well, in this very specific scenario, I don't like the way the boss treated them. So this is karma. And this is an illegal job.
Careful, you're sounding a little bit like some people out there.
The boss very specifically says, like, if the forest crew comes, if Yogi Bear comes, make sure you book it out of there because we're not supposed to be here. So if you're not supposed to be here, then I can do whatever I want.
I see. Okay, yeah. A true poop hole loophole.
Yeah, truly.
Well, yeah, with those beans. Making mud pie out there.
The 2 talk about what that was. That was a one-time thing. You know I ain't queer. Before spending the rest of the summer proving that it wasn't a one-time thing, and they just might, in fact, be queer. As the summer comes to an end, Ennis gets in a little mood now that his time with his butt buddy is over, and he has to go back to his fiancée.
You had fun this week with this outline.
I did.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. But then I got in my head like, oh, Heath Ledger wouldn't like how much fun I had with it. But then once it starts to get real, then I tone it down a bit.
But also, Heath Ledger is an ally. So it was his responsibility to be listening and learning and standing up for what's right. You are in the community, so you can say whatever the fuck you want.
True. You know what? This is my story. I'm the captain now. He has to get back to his fiancée, which results in a tussle that leaves him with a broken nose, a bloody shirt, and sobbing and throwing up in an alley. And you know what? Since I am having so much fun this episode, let me hit you with childhood trauma that might not be a funny story. It might just be sad.
Okay.
So in my house growing up, I felt like I wasn't allowed to show my feelings, you know? I wasn't allowed to be who I was. So because of that, kept my feelings bottled up. And the only time they used to like sneak up on me that I couldn't repress them or couldn't like hide them was when I was sick, because I was sick. So being sick was my top of mind. So like, yes, I'm a little more whiny than usual. Yes, I'm a little like, I might cry, whatever. But because of that, to this day, this is not great. Whenever I throw up, I feel very guilty about it and apologize for years later about it. And being hungover throw up is different than like regular. But if I just got sick right now and threw up, I would apologize to you for the rest of the podcast recording until like the podcast is done, not just today, for the rest of our lives. And then also I cry when I throw up too.
Yeah, I cried too, but I think that is just like biology because you're like releasing.
Purge.
Yeah.
Oh, so maybe that's not why.
Yeah, well, I mean,
With the
it sounds like
apology.
there might be some trauma associated too. Well, I can give you permission. If you throw up, I will probably throw up. So then that cancels out and we don't have to apologize to each other.
Okay, great. But
Yeah.
we'll both cry. And after a summer of feeling pretty and witty and gay, Ennis goes back to his hetero life, where he marries white Michelle Williams, moves to the home of her dreams above a laundromat, gets her pregnant twice, does a little Jack and Ennis roleplay when he sticks his penis in her butt, and doesn't do a thing about his anger issues, getting in a fight with bikers on the 4th of July at a family fireworks display.
Which this is my toxic trait, but that was so hot.
It was hot.
With the exploding fireworks behind him as he's just like hovering over.
That used to be my desktop background.
I understand why.
Yeah.
Hubba hubba.
I know, I agree. I do think, you know, this is my Joe Rogan section. Men
Great.
are just violent, you know? That is what it is. But I think when channeled correctly, it's fine. Like, yes, you should be violent against people saying inappropriate words in front of your children at a family function. Beat their ass.
Yeah. I think that I'm fine with knowing that men are violent so long as women are safe. And also, why did anger get rebranded into not an emotion? It's always like, oh, women are so emotional. Women are so emotional. A man will kill you if you leave him. When did anger stop being an emotion? Because I would argue men are the most emotional because they can't control their anger at all.
You heard it here? Probably not first, but you heard it here.
You sure did.
Meanwhile, Jack has been sniffing around Brokeback, looking for more work and for Ennis. And when Randy Quaid tells him he knows what went on up there and that neither one of them will be hired by him ever again, Jack hits on other men instead, until he hits on Rodeo Darling and Lorene Hathaway and sees more than this princess's diaries, getting her pregnant, and then marrying her. And now it's 4 years later, and they both have wives, so it's a wonderful time to continue their affair. When Jack sends Ennis a postcard telling him he'll be in town soon, Ennis writes back telling him his schedule and his mouth will be open. So open, in fact, that he can't help himself and kisses Jack fucking Twist right on his porch for his wife to see before telling her they'll be going away for the night to catch up. Now, I was going to include this in my What Age Like Blockbuster segment, but I instead will just put it here. I saw this in January for the 20th anniversary in theaters, and I hate the memification of our culture. Beyond the Blinds talked about the memification of our culture a lot during like the Diddy trial or even like with the Epstein files. Like everything's a joke now. And we use like Nene Leakes looking at something about Beethoven seconding in real life. So like that isn't great. But I also, to a lesser degree, hate it because this is like a tense, heartbreaking, nuanced, emotional, deep love story, but also like about real life. It just is heavy. It's a heavy movie. And when I saw this in theaters the first time, the audience was silent the whole time, very much like watched it the way they should. But then when I saw it in January for the 20th anniversary, we got to this scene where she like covers her mouth looking at them and the theater laughed like they were fucking watching White Chicks.
What?
The whole theater erupted in laughter watching her watch her husband kiss these two men.
That's fucked.
I know.
Our brains are broken.
I think so. And this is coming from the man that did laugh at the end of The Notebook in theaters, but...
Well, that's just objectively funny. But I do, to some degree, understand the memification when we are trying to make jokes or not make light, but try to provide context about heavy things because it can be like a laugh so you don't cry situation.
Yeah.
But there was nothing funny about this scene.
No. And I think it's because... out of context, her doing that is used as a GIF and a meme now.
Yeah.
So now, like, in their head, it is this, but, like, they have watched it about the Traitors reunion. Someone posted that same GIF.
Now, we could have been better about cheating.
Yeah.
And I know that he was so overcome. He's also drank, like, a 12-pack because he's so nervous waiting for him. Like, I understand why he could no longer control himself, and I think that's the point, is like he's so repressed that it finally he is allowed to express himself, so he truly can't control it. It's like, I have to kiss you right this second. And it was very hot. But there was a recent study about how millennials are not cheating as much as previous generations. And first of all, I'm like, well, number one, who has the time?
True.
When I hear these stories about people in the past having like whole second families, I'm like, with what time and with what money? So I think that might be contributing. Like, if we can't afford avocados, we're not affording a second family.
True.
I think also, you know, women had less resources and opportunities to leave. And so like white Michelle Williams, who immediately discovers she sticks around because like, what is her other option? And
I also think that there's less labels now, too. So, like, maybe white Michelle Williams in 2026 would have said, like, fine, you fuck Jake Gyllenhaal on the side, and I'll fuck my manager at the grocery store on the side. And then we come here and raise our daughters and call it a day.
I love that.
He'll give me a discount on beans. You can bring him to the mountain.
She likes two dicks, don't you, baby? She needs two dicks.
And when he gets back the next morning, he tells her they had so much fun catching up, they'll be going away for a few days to continue catching up. And catch up they do. And skinny dip and make love. So much so that Jack forgets their reality and tells Ennis they could run away together to some ranch. But Ennis is rooted in reality, telling Jack that they need to be careful because when he was little, his father showed him a dead hate crime victim and warned him to never fall victim to this lifestyle.
Did the audience laugh at that one too?
Not yet. They did laugh at other things, though, that were like, this is not funny.
I hate
really
that.
Pissed me off.
I hate when you lose a crowd in a theater.
Yeah. Anytime someone even remotely chuckled, I was like, shut the fuck up.
I would just have started yelling, "You homophobe! Why do you hate
No,
gay people?"
I think that was the problem too, is that not to be this person, but this is a millennial podcast. If I'm talking about you, thank you for listening, but sometimes you're my target of hate. Your haircut's ugly and you look plain. But I think that was the problem too, is that like when I saw it in 2006, people were still closeted. People were very much afraid of, and like, yes, we are certainly going back to that. And for a lot of people as a whole, yes, it was like free and accepting, but like there were still obviously people who couldn't come out to their families, whatever. But as a whole, generation wise, Gen Z is a lot freer. And the generations after Gen Z are a lot freer and are able to not use a label and just date who they want until they figure it out, whatever. Whereas like when I saw it in 2006 in middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania, probably everyone in that theater was afraid they were going to be hate crimed, maybe after that movie in the parking lot. Whereas now it is Gen Z who are like, this is not what being gay is like. So they can like laugh through it all.
And we are officially getting old enough that we're starting to sound like the old crotchety generations previous of like, I walked uphill both ways to school. But that's how it should be, right? Like it should be that they are feeling so free and they have so much access to a heated rivalry or to other media that depicts what gay love is. But there needs to be a respect and an acknowledgement of what came before. The same as our generation had to be respectful of like what people during the AIDS epidemic went through, or like how trans and queer people were treated before then too. Like there needs to be like I'm here now, so I don't quite get this because this isn't my experience, but holy shit, that's what it was like for them.
Yeah, I wouldn't sit there chuckling if I watched The Normal Heart.
Right.
Now, I do chuckle if I watch Pose, but that's not because of the trans identity. That's because none of those women can act.
And that is inclusion, because we're treating everybody the same.
Another 4 years pass, with Jack visiting Ennis 2 to 3 times a year, and the men head off for another trip. And when Ennis almost forgets his fishing equipment for a fishing trip, White Michelle Williams has had enough. She's willing to pretend she doesn't know what's going on, but Ennis needs to at least attempt to cover up his faggotry. And so, they get a divorce, with her getting custody minus 1 weekend a month. And when Jack gets news of the divorce, he heads to Ennis, assuming his man is free to finally be his man. But Ennis still ain't no queer. And so, Jack makes another 14-hour trek back home, crying as he does. But instead of going home to Texas, he goes to Mexico, where he blows men in back alleys. It's like they always say, you can take the gay out of Texas, but you can't take the dick out of Texan gays.
Yeehaw!
That is yeehaw, baby. It's Thanksgiving. Lorene has dyed her perm blonde, and while Lorene's father emasculates Jack as always, Jack has a mustache now, so he isn't going to take it laying down any longer. Only with Ennis. Hey. When Lorene's father goes against Jack's parenting wishes too many times, Jack tells the old son of a bitch to sit down before he beats his ignorant ass into next week. A sentence that gets Lorene wet with a capital W.
She loved
this was
it.
hot too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This doesn't really fit in anywhere, but I do just want to quote, because this is a stim of mine. I'll be eating this stuff for the next 2 weeks.
Thank you. That was important.
Elsewhere, Ennis is celebrating the holiday with his daughters, White Michelle Williams and her new man. And while most of the night goes well, it goes to shit when Michelle asks about Jack Twist. But she doesn't need an answer, because she already knows he didn't go up there to fish. Jack Twist? Jack Nasty. Now...
This was funny.
Yeah, you hate in others what you hate about yourself, because I did laugh out loud this scene. And the person I was with had never seen this movie. And as the scene started, I said, best scene of the whole movie.
Yeah, I don't know if I laughed, but I definitely guffawed, because I was not expecting this, because going back to our other conversation, I was expecting her to be understanding, which is stupid of me, because again, like the time frame of what they're living in and what was conditioned as a whole in society, like she would be more likely to still be feeling a certain type of way about it. But when she said it, I was kind of expecting her, she has a whole other family now.
Yeah.
Like she's moved on, she's with her new husband, she's got a new baby on the way. I expected her to be like, we worry about you. Why don't you go be with the guy that clearly we know about and I've always known about? But when she said Jack Nasty, I went, oh, White Michelle Williams.
I wonder if he, like, let's say he ended up with a new boyfriend now. I wonder if she'd be willing to take that in, but still in her, she blames like him for ruining the marriage.
It's more about the cheating and less about the
Yeah.
gay.
I mean, I'm sure it's about the gay too. It is
Mm.
1967 or whatever, but maybe. Which
Yeah.
I did love that Lorene is cool with it.
I loved it.
I know.
Yeah.
And
That's
that was,
again,
woman.
it was so subtle. Nobody outright ever said the thing. And I think, again, it speaks to what it had to be like, of like really speaking in code and under the radar. But even the mom at the end, so much is conveyed in what's not being said. And I think that's what makes this movie brilliant.
Yeah, I love this movie.
But back to her confrontation about Jack Nasty, when she tells him like her little trick with the fishing rod, where she's like, by the way, I tied that note to the fishing rod of like, bring us home fish. And then she checks the tackle box at the end of the fishing trip and it's like still there.
Yeah.
Number one, brilliant. Like, that is a detective on our hands. I love women. I love women's rights and I love women's wrongs. And she was both right and wrong for this. But this is, again, like, okay, I understand you were so overcome that you had to smooch Jack Twist in that alleyway right outside your apartment. I get that. But my God, I know you're excited to bone, but like, what are you doing out in the wilderness? What are you eating? You're not going to fish at all while you're out there?
I just assume they stopped at a 7-Eleven or something.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, there had to be grocery stores closer to the mountain.
You know, gays, they love their 7-Eleven.
I would show up at the campground with a Slurpee and a pack of corn nuts.
Like, I mixed red cherry and blue raspberry. You want a sip?
Another time jump and the girls are fighting again about, you guessed it, Jack wanting to run away together and Ennis still not being queer. And to prove it to himself, he finds himself in a relationship with Velma from Scooby-Doo. But when he won't commit to her, she moves on even though she's deeply in love. And to prove to himself he doesn't need Ennis to survive, Jack starts fucking Anna Faris's husband. Cindy, the TV's leaking. And so is Jack's pussy.
Ooh, what a ride.
But while his hole is open to Hopper from Stranger Things, his heart belongs to Ennis. And on their next fishing trip, he tells him as such. And Ennis has something of his own to tell him. He won't be able to take another trip until November. So Jack tells him they could have had a good life, a fucking real good life. But he turned it down repeatedly, and he wishes he knew how to quit him. For an audition class I took in college, we had to do 2 monologues, one contemporary, one classical. So I did some Shakespeare shit. But then my contemporary one was this one. And I thought I was great, but he brought in like real professors or like casting directors or whatever as like a little America's Next Top Model judging panel. And they all told me there were too many curses in it.
Oh, get a life.
Yeah.
That was such a great scene, though.
So good.
Again, and not knowing anything really about this movie, I had heard I think probably SNL did a sketch about it, is probably how I know, but like the I just can't quit you. I knew that was there, and I actually didn't even remember it until he said it. And I was like, oh, once again, the memification of our country, like hearing it in the context. I started crying at this scene and I didn't stop for the rest of the movie.
I mean, where would you pause to stop crying? Because it is cry heavy from here on out.
After this scene is when I texted you and I said, okay, I think I'm going to have to finish this movie in the morning, because I started getting that like hollow feeling in my heart of just, I knew it was a good movie, but I mean, thank God we didn't cover it last week.
Yeah.
I would have been.
And that's partly why, too, because I feel like I knew you would know this was a good movie, but I needed you to be emotionally ready to take it in, as opposed to already having your guard up and be like, no, this is too heavy for me. I can't get into it.
I think that had I watched this last week, it would have been one of those movies where I would have said, I know this is a great movie and I'm never watching it again. Like, I think I would have had the same experience of when I watched Requiem for a Dream.
Okay.
I didn't feel right in the head or the heart for weeks after that. Whereas now, this week, I felt more stable, that then I told you I was going to turn it off and take a break, but I then just kept watching it because I was so invested.
Well, I'm glad. Oh, and also this scene when right after they break up, then they cut to the first time they ever, beautiful. Which people, not only do they make memes, they're also just fucking idiots. Because I also recently saw a side-by-side of this scene and they were like, when did they have time to shave their beards after this fight? Like, I know you ain't done.
You morons. Yeah, that's somebody who's like on Threads like, oh, I found a continuity error. No, bitch, you didn't understand the scene, you stupid
it's a flashback,
twat.
you stupid C-word.
Especially because that was, again, that moment of seeing young Jake Gyllenhaal and then old Jake Gyllenhaal that was another moment where I was like, whoa, this is such a good movie and this is such incredible acting because, again, nothing is said, but even the difference of like the light in his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's so in love and hopeful and youthful and
Yeah.
young and just his whole life is ahead of him in that one shot. And then when it transfers over, and yes, he's like aged, but also just like the light has left his eyes. It's so haunting.
Yeah.
I could cry just thinking about it.
I know, because there hasn't been acting this good until Michael B. Jordan in Sinners when he played the twins very differently. But like besides some wrinkle lines and sunspots and like different haircuts, they don't do a lot to age them. So it really is just how they behave. And Heath and Jake are two very different people at the start and end of the movie.
Yes, 100%.
When Ennis sends his next letter to Jack, it comes back with a message across the front, deceased. After calling Lorene, she tells him that when he was changing a tire, it popped and broke his nose and jaw, leaving him to bleed out and drown in his own blood. Sorry, cuties. Now this is the part where I'm just crying as I read it and all the butt-fucking jokes are over.
Well, you know, there's a time and a place for a butt-fucking joke, and it's not usually after a hate crime.
No. But as I'm reading, I'm tearing up and I was like, this is very jarring if you're just listening to it on the ride home. But Ennis knows the truth. Just like the body he saw when he was younger, the man he loved was killed in a hate crime. And my notes for this, because this is when Anne Hathaway answers the phone in that jump scare of a haircut. She is so good in this movie. They're all so good in this movie. This is, I'm going to answer for you. This is the best Tears and Queers movie, hands down.
Hands down. Yeah. I'm glad it worked out the way it did because...
a grand finale.
This was a grand finale. This was me punching out an asshole with the fireworks behind me.
He also learns he was cremated, half with her, half with his parents, since his wish was to be scattered across Brokeback Mountain, and she didn't know where that was. So Ennis heads to his parents' house to get the other half of Jack's ashes and carry out his wishes. Unfortunately, his father's a piece of shit homophobe who has an idea of who Ennis is, and doesn't want his son to get anything remotely close to what he wanted. His winterbone mama, however, offers Ennis the chance to check out Jack's room, which has been kept exactly as it was since he was a boy. And during his tour of the room, he finds, tucked away in the corner of the closet, his own shirt that got blood on it and went missing the day they first fought on Brokeback Mountain. Ennis takes it and hangs it in his home as a reminder of the great love of his life. And with a new appreciation for love, he finally gets his priorities in order, telling his demon daughter he'll take off from work for his wedding. Chelsea,
daughter.
I fucking hate Kate Mara. She's the worst part of this movie. This is what makes this movie a 9 for me. She is the reason, back when it aired, back when this was in the Oscar race, I was happy Brokeback Mountain lost just because she was in it. And I didn't want to see her at the end with the rest of the cast hold an Oscar. I was like, thank God.
You know, circles do become circles because let's play that March Madness bracket again. In this case, gay rights is defeated by a woman whose face you don't like.
I fucking hate her.
Okay. I thought she was quite good in this movie, but what do I know?
I will say this is her best work. Is it because she's only in 3 minutes of it? Maybe. Is it because the butchness I don't like about her works because she lives on the ranch? Perhaps. But there is something.
Now, I will say she does have the type of mouth and teeth. And before we get the comments, cuties, I know when it comes to mouth and teeth, I'm in a glass house, cast in my little stones. But there is a certain type of mouth and teeth that it's not veneers, because it was pre-veneers when they had this face. But when like the teeth are like the exact same size, the other person who has it is the mom from Twilight. When she was on Grey's Anatomy as Jane Doe, I couldn't even look at her because there's something unsettling about like how uniform the teeth size is.
I know. And back then, for that story arc in the beginning of it, it was just bandages and then the mouth. So that was all you saw. Like
and then I was thinking, wow, that car crash really fucked up that lady's teeth.
Okay.
Well, on that note, great movie. Terrible teeth.
I love that movie.
Final thoughts. If we were to bring this movie to present day, who would you cast in the reboot or what would the plot of a sequel be? Can I go first? Because I'm proud of my answer this week.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Okay. So for the men, I think Jonathan Bailey and Channing Tatum. Jonathan Bailey as Jack Quick and Channing Tatum as Heath Ledger's character.
Okay.
Then this one popped in my head and I was like, oh, I'm a genius. You know Deja on This Is Us, Lyric Ross?
Yeah.
She has such range. I think she could play White Michelle Williams' part.
Uh-huh.
And then Margot Robbie as Anne Hathaway. Can you imagine her with a little bouffant wig?
Yeah. I do like that.
Thank
I
you.
didn't cast it. There was a play already on in the West End with Mike Faust and Lucas Hedges, and I think Mike Faust is too ugly to be in this movie. So once I read that, then it like took me out of it because then I was like, nobody could play these parts. But I do like your cast a lot, except instead of Margot Robbie, I think Ariana Grande would be good as her too.
She crossed my mind.
And I do love like a little reunion.
So your answer was just that you remembered that somebody was too ugly and you got
No,
mad
my
about
answer
it.
is much like the boardroom at the beginning of the episode. I went into your boardroom, changed it, and now we have a movie on our hands.
Okay, great. Collaboration. Final thoughts. What about this movie aged well and what aged like blockbuster?
Okay, I think the way that like every character handled the issue of being gay differently. Like Jack and Ennis, obviously they did as well, but then even their wives handled it differently. And like the different ways we saw homophobia or like supporting the person and not the act of being gay. Like it was very nuanced across the board. And I think the writer, whether it was of the short story or more fleshed out in the movie script, I think the writer like truly sat down and wanted to make sure every character was very different. So I think it was just written beautifully.
Even the two men, how Jack Quick is not hypersexual, but like seeking that out. And then Heath Ledger is just angry. And that's like how he's able to like get his feelings out.
This is going to be my Roger Ebert moment, except I'm not dragging the other movie. I'm just talking about it. But Rent handles like having AIDS the same way. Like every character that has AIDS handles it so differently. And I like seeing Rent in other pieces of art.
Love that.
No day but today, honey.
Everybody has AIDS. AIDS.
See, Heath would have threw tomatoes at you if you went to the award shop.
Well, blame South Park, not me.
It was actually Team America World Police, Chelsea.
You know, as I said it, I was like, this is going to be what I get corrected on of all the egregious things I say on this show.
No, I also corrected you every time you said Jack Quick. I said Twist, but I made it very subtle. So now when you edit, you'll hear it. But throughout, you just kept going.
What is his name?
Jack Twist.
Oh, but Jack be nimble, Jack be quick. He does that too.
I got what you did. I don't have a problem with it, and we touched on it already, but two straight shouldn't be playing gay conversation is still alive and well this day and age. But I say cast the straights. Number one, if you want to see Jonathan Bailey get butt fucked, he probably has pictures on his camera. Wait for the next Sony leak. We might see it. But if you want to see Jake Gyllenhaal get butt fucked, there might only be a chance to see it in a big screen film, you know?
Yeah, when the universe comes knocking, you don't say no.
No, exactly.
And I think, again, if we're thinking of what should be, true equity and inclusion is that if a role is open, anyone can get it, right? And so just like these two people could play these two gay men, now that gay men are getting more opportunities to play straight presenting characters, like Jonathan Bailey being in Wicked. Like, as long as everybody has a seat at the table or the opportunity to have a seat at the table, I think that that is where the nuance is.
Yeah.
But when gay actors aren't being cast in anything, I understand the pushback of like, what the fuck?
And I think that's the problem too with it. Again, I don't have a problem with it, but I think the problem with it is that gay actors aren't getting as many roles, which then means there aren't as many famous gays to choose from. So when they are casting a movie with Anne Hathaway, Velma from Scooby-Doo, and white Michelle Williams, then they're like, who is comparative that is a white male actor that's gay? Oh, nobody. Doogie Howser and who else? And like even Doogie Howser with those names is not the same level.
Especially at that time because he hadn't had his resurgence with How I Met Your Mother yet.
So if you want star power, unfortunately, that gives you a bigger pool of straight men than openly gay ones.
Yeah. And I think the important thing is that people keep having this conversation. But
beautiful.
Overall, I think this was a near perfect movie. I feel lucky that you made me watch it. And I'm here to report, guess what's getting added to my best movies of 2026 list?
Now, I don't want to let 2026 end without you seeing Crash. So we'll cover that at some point so that you can judge if the best movie of 2026 is Crash or Brokeback Mountain.
Oh, Oh, okay. Maybe I'll make my announcement at the Cuties Choice Awards.
Oh, good. Okay. And that is the end of Tears and Queers Month. Next week does officially begin Donnie Appreciation Month. So next week, we are covering My Date with the President's Daughter, the made-for-TV movie starring Will Friedle. It's a hit. Cuties, if you haven't seen it, it is available to watch not on Disney Plus, on YouTube. So go there, watch it, and enjoy yourselves.
So everybody, grab your beans, gird your loins. Donnie Appreciation Month is officially coming around the corner.
But you know what? I do think the Cuties were probably scared for this one. 40 is a big milestone number. So like, oh, he's really going to be the worst version of himself. But I think, yes, I am. But I think the worst version of myself is channeled into Big Brother 40. So I think like the worst version of Donnie is busy. So I think on this podcast, I will kind of be not a shell of a human, but a tired one that doesn't have the energy to terrorize you.
I believe in you and I believe in your ability to push through and terrorize me anyway. But I do agree. And I think that we're going to get the worst version of Donnie in April once Big Brother 40 is over and we can then redirect the energy back to terrorizing me. And for that reason, I'm glad that, again, if the Cuties missed the announcement, we will be doing ANTM April because you know who else is a terrible person? Tyra Banks. So...
Which I've been watching clips of America's Next Top Model now that they're all over the internet. I'm having a ball. I can't wait to watch the real thing.
I know. So Cuties, please slide into my DMs, or if you're a Patreon cutie, please comment below seasons and episodes that I should be revisiting to pick the 4 random episodes that we want Donnie to watch in its entirety. We're definitely doing the race episode.
The clip I saw yesterday, she had like a group of 30 and she told half, like, you 15 did not make it. Pack your bags, go wait downstairs. The other ones, you hang out up here. You made it. So then the girls are cheering while the other ones take their bags and wait downstairs. And Tyra comes and talks to the losers and says like, yeah, unfortunately, pack your bags and go home. But you don't have far to go because you're here. And then you find out that those girls who thought they were kicked out are really the models. And we never cut back to the ones on the roof. But that means those girls thought they made it and didn't. And like, from what I was seeing in the clip, anyone with eyes could have looked around and thought, oh, there's a twist.
The ugly season.
Hey, Mara's up here with me. Yeah.
Yeah, wouldn't have been out of the realm of the possibilities. There was an episode where a girl's friend, she finds out on the phone her friend died. And the next episode, Tyra makes her photo shoot. She has to do it from inside a coffin. So you truly cannot make this shit up of like what Tyra Banks was out here doing.
I love her so much. And on that note, we'll talk to you later. Love you like a sister.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to I Am the Cute One. If you want more, head to patreon.com/IamTheCuteOne for uncut, unedited, and unhinged video and audio footage of current episodes, as well as even more bonus content.
And if you like what you heard, please be sure to leave a 5-star rating and subscribe to our show. And to help us grow this community of chaotic cuties, share an episode with a friend you think would pass the vibe check.
And to see the madness, check out our YouTube channel, where video footage from all current episodes are posted weekly.
You can follow me at Real Donnywood on Instagram and all other social media platforms.
And if you want more of my personal brand of chaos, check me out at Oh No Chels.
Talk to you later. Love you like a sister.